was 10 years old, I fell so deeply in love with the live-action Scooby-Doo movies that I decided to write the third one myself. Now, something domino effect, I'm a screenwriter, and to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Scooby-Doo film franchise, I'm gonna try to write this third one again, but better. Right off the bat, we have a pretty important choice to make that's gonna kind of define the path of this project. We could make a third movie. I'm not calling it a threequel. No. We could make a third movie that's set circa 2006, when the proposed third Scooby-Doo movie that Warner Brothers was going to make and then canceled would have come out. We could even use James Gunn's plot that he's hinted at, that they were going to go to Scotland and Shaggy and Scooby were going to have to face up to some of their prejudices and demons or something. Or we could make a revival. And for reasons that we're going to talk about later, I don't think the Scooby-Doo movies are a very good vehicle to talk about direct sequels, because Monsters Unleashed in a lot of ways is actually not a sequel to Spooky Island, which is what I'm going to call the first one, because I'm not calling it Scooby-Doo parentheses 2002, you get it. Okay, so let's define some terms. And I'm probably going to use these interchangeably, I feel like most people do, but just so we have it. When I say revival, I mean bringing the original cast of a thing back to play their original characters and catch up with their story in the present time. And when I say reboot, I mean restarting a franchise with a new cast and probably a new angle to justify this new movie. So, these are revivals. These are reboots. These are something in the middle. If you hadn't noticed, we are living in the, I don't want to say golden age because it's not, but the rust-crusted bucket age of revivals. Why is that? Well, from a studio perspective, it's pretty obvious. A revival is what's called bankable IP. It's a property that the audience already recognizes, so they're more likely to go see it. Maybe you haven't cared about Jurassic Park since 1993, but when you see the gang back again, you might just buy a ticket. As a fan, revivals are something of a double-edged sword. Of course, we all want to see our favorite characters back again. We want to check in with how they're doing and what happened after, hopefully, a happy ever after. But that can often come at the cost of messing with mythology that doesn't need to be messed with, answering questions that were more fun, open-ended, and just generally making the story worse. So, I don't necessarily want a third Scooby-Doo movie. I'm kind of glad I haven't heard anything about this yet. That said, I would see it. I would see it in a heartbeat, probably a couple of times. But I don't necessarily, think this is a needed thing in the world. However, I do think that this is an interesting question. What makes a good revival? If we must have all these revivals, what makes a good one? So the premise of this project is going to be that we are tasked with writing this revival third Scooby-Doo movie. We're not the ones making the decision that it's going to happen. We're just the ones who have to figure out how to make the story work. So within that, what can we do to make this an interesting story? If we must write a revival, how can we write a good one? Let's do it. How many bad Scooby-Doo puns do you think I can make? I think a lot.